Hello, good morning, and welcome to the show. This is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. It's a Friday, the 17th day of May 2024. By His grace, we're live and we're here. We're at another edition of the show. Our gratitude will go to the Most High God for the rare privilege of being alive and, of course, the opportunity of having another conversation around the top stories making the rounds here in our dear Republic. I'll let you into our panel for the morning's conversation shortly, but let's take a look at the front pages of our newspapers. Daily Graphic. Your Ghana, my Ghana. Innovate to boost cocoa consumption. Chocolate producer advocates. Be accurate. Information dissemination ambassadors. Chief of Staff charges African media. The constituency watch is on Zebila constituency. It says parliamentary race hits up. The Ghanaian Times. At Africa Media Convention, prioritize advocacy on climate change to support efforts in mitigating impacts. Chief of Staff. Bank of Ghana transacts cross-border trade with eCash. Finance Minister ABBEY signed $200 million SME deal in Lomé. Reconsider granting of license for mining in Draw River Forest Reserve, GEAG. Women Voter Mobilization Campaign for Election 2024 launched in Upper East Region. New Weekend Crusading Guide. Move to oust Special Prosecutor underway. Chief Justice Rice to Kisia Jabin to respond to allegations to determine prima facie case. Why Sal couldn't vote in 2020 parliamentary election, EC clarifies. Richard Nyama fulfills campaign promise to provide water for 9 communities. Government pledges support for SMEs. Chief of Staff pushes for more media support at AMC. NPA devises ways to stabilize price of gas. Otumfo at 25, NAPO extols preservation of vintage Rolls Royce. The Insight, NDC raises red flag over alleged abuse of Ghana card for registration. Tema Circuit Court orders seizure of vehicle belonging to Adan Chief Nene Lanoe Okumo IV for defaulting in payment of judgment debt of 53,600 cedis. Victim of acid attack petitions IGP, Speaker, others over accusation of fraud, theft and assault against Agrada. Comfort Doyo vows to fix pressing infrastructure challenges as she tours schools in constituency. The Informer, may your dream come true. Gonja King prays for Baumia. Towards curbing unnecessary renal deaths. Remove VAT on kidney medications, government told. Be ready for court. Minister warns electoral offenders. Volta chief reacts to Informer. Let's protect our resources for posterity. Mahama urges. Our operations legitimate. Better Land Ghana clarifies. The Inquisitor. Food to SHSs. Suppliers unhappy with GCX. Opuni's case. Reconsider decision to change new panel. Group to Supreme Court. Government has destroyed small-scale mining sector. John Mahama. Samia Oku, NPP ahead of NDC in objective polls. Otumfo at 25. NAPO extols preservation of vintage Rolls Royce. The Ghanaian Publisher. Frema applauds media role in Ghana's development. Northern Chief salutes Baumia. Government pledges support for SMEs. NPA rolls out strategies to stabilize gas prices. The Custodian. We trust you, Northern Chief Stel Baumia. Frema advocates more support for media. Bishop Taki Aboy donates medical equipment to Kolebu. NPA moves to stabilize price of gas. The New Finder. Media's role vital. Needs enhanced support for all. Chief of Staff. Parliament petition to probe Yoko's conduct in Sicilia Dapa saga. Northern Regional House of Chiefs salutes Baumia for development in the region. Government pledges support for SMEs. Daily Post. Mahama unveils 18 innovative strategies to restore sanity in the small-scale mining sector without gunshots, killings, burning of excavators, and etc. Sustainable jobs to be created for the youth. You will hand over power or face the grave consequences, NDC assures Akufo-Addo. Wants EC to beware or else. State officials are conniving with Angela List in Nguvu mining to plunder Ghana's resources in spite of a High Court order, LMWG alleges. And a quote on the front page of the Daily Post reads, those who make a peaceful change impossible, make a violent change inevitable. And finally, the good old Catholic Standard. Archbishop Palmer Bakel urges youth to use social media positively. Cardinal Derry Scholars Program launched. Vatican announces Holy Year indulgence. Demand responsible environmental policies from political parties. Bishop Afrifa Jekum to voters. And editorial, a hypocrisy towards reality, cause of perennial Accra, Ghana flooding. And that's about it for the front pages. We'll be back shortly. Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. And, well, I've just informed that there's some breaking news. Something happened just 24 minutes ago, and you'd get to hear it for the first time on Good Morning Ghana in a few minutes. With me on the show this morning, I have the mentor who says he doesn't feel appreciated despite all his mentorship lessons over the years or decades. Well, he's the vice chair of Baumia 2024. Nana Kumia is here with me on the show. Nana, good morning.
Good morning, Randy.
Nana mentor Kumia. Also with me on the show this morning is the Honorable Samuel Kujatua Blackwa, is Member of Parliament for the North Tongue constituency, and also the ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee in the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. But if you're looking for that toothpaste that can take care of the entire family, which is of a top quality and also affordable, the recommended family toothpaste is KL 360 toothpaste. This is approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. KL 360 toothpaste provides you and your family with all-round dental protection throughout the day with freshness. KL 360 toothpaste is good for kids, children, and adults. Let your family be a proud family when they step out by constantly using KL 360 toothpaste. KL 360 toothpaste brightens your teeth, prevents cavity, and with its cool mint, gives you fresh breath throughout the day and protects the gum from decaying. For consistency and quality, use KL 360 toothpaste. KL 360 toothpaste is another product from Samara Company Limited, producers of Sasu. It's available in all supermarkets, malls, and provision shops. Call Samara Company on 0246 864798. KL 360 toothpaste, happy smile. And enjoying the fruits of your labor is as important as enjoying the mansions of your labor. The pains of climbing the stairs when not exercising could be challenging irrespective of your age. But worry no more. Lift and elevators have got you covered with the best portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators in the market today. It's a simple self-supported elevator for both homes and offices, and guess what? It can lift your goods too. Wheelchairs can fit in, and they come in 3 custom-made models. It's affordable and can be installed within 3 days. Visit Lifts and Elevators at Sakumon, or just call them on 0200 535 515 or send a mail to elevatorsgh@gmail.com for consultations and the best solutions in easy vertical movements. All right. So, the Honorable Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, Member of Parliament for the North Tongue constituency and the ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee of the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana, has a breaking story.
Yeah, Doc. Good morning to you. Good morning to Nana.
Good morning.
Yes, I can confirm to you this morning that at exactly 8 a.m., the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice has been this morning petitioned. The petition borders on matters relating to the sale of hotels under SNET's investment portfolio to a sitting Minister of State, the Honorable Brian Achampong. By this petition, I am requesting Shraj to commence full-scale and impartial investigations into the sale and the prospective purchase by the Honorable Brian Achampong using his company, the Rock City Hotel Limited. Now, by way of background, on the 7th of February 2022, SSNIT strangely put out this notice with the caption, Sourcing for Strategic Partners, International Competitive Tendering, project number GR/SNIT/CS/0001/2022, request for expression of interest for investment in SNIT-owned enterprises in Ghana. The notice stated in very clear terms that the hotels under SNIT's investment portfolio, 60% shares were going to be divested. And the transaction features are as follows: opportunity to acquire control and set strategic direction, opportunity to partner with the largest non-bank financial institution in Ghana. The hotels listed in this notice are the Labadi Beach Hotel, La Palm Royal Beach Resort, Elmina Beach Resort, Ridge Royal Hotel, the Buzia Beach Resort, and the Trust Lodge Hotel. So six in all. So this was in 2022. After this notice, there were rumors that the whole procurement arrangement was being cooked for one person. But there was very scanty information, and it was difficult to proceed on those rumors. There were also considerable agitation from some of the hotels listed. If you take Labadi Hotel, for example, the Labadi Beach Hotel is one of the most profitable hotels under the SNIT investment portfolio.
In fact, in Ghana.
In 2022, they paid dividend to government of 25 million Ghana cedis. And I have that report here. In 2021, they paid 10 million Ghana cedis dividend to government. The Ridge Royal Hotel is also doing very, very well. Yeah. And indeed, I have a copy of their latest financial performance report. And it's a very healthy company financially. So one wonders why SNIT, which many actuarial studies in recent times, including the ILO report, are raising concerns about its ability to even pay pensions, in the near future, why they will be divesting their stake in these very profitable hotels. So we have been digging and trying to get the needed documentation, what you may call the smoking gun, so that we can proceed on concrete basis and not just on rumors. Fortunately, I have intercepted this letter dated 21st March 2024, signed by Mr. Kofi Osafo-Maafo, who was then the Deputy Director General, IDD. We all know that he's now taking over as the boss at SNIT, 27th March 2024. And this is a few weeks ago, a couple of months ago.
So did he sign as deputy or as DG?
He signed as deputy. He signed as Deputy Director General, IDD. And this letter is addressed to the board chairman, Ridge Royal Hotel, Cape Coast, Ghana. And it reads, Dear Sir, notice of proposed sale of SNIT's 60% equity stake in Ridge Royal Hotel. We write to inform you of SNIT's strategic decision to divest 60% of its stake in the hotels within its investment portfolio to a strategic investor. We are pleased to announce that we have identified a prospective buyer to acquire the portion of your stake in Ridge Royal Hotel. In accordance with the shareholders' agreement dated 1st April 1999, which outlines transfer restrictions on shares as per clause 5.2. And you know, this letter to Ridge Royal became very crucial because SNIT had proceeded to advertise. They were going to sell all the hotels, the 60% shares, treating all the hotels the same way, forgetting that they didn't have 100% control in Ridge Royal. There is a minority shareholder who has 4.9%. So this was brought to their attention by the minority shareholders. They protested. And so they had to now, despite what they had done, having advanced in the divesting of the 60% shares, they had to now walk back and respect the shareholders' agreement, albeit, belatedly and grudgingly. But let me proceed. So in accordance with the shareholders' agreement dated 1st April 1999, which outlines transfer restrictions on shares as per clause 5.2, SNIT is extending an offer to the minority shareholders of Ridge Royal Hotel to exercise their first right to purchase our 60% equity stake within a 45-day window. Failure to act within this specified time frame will result in a waiver of such rights. Now, this 45-day window lapsed on the 12th of May. And my information is that the minority shareholders are protesting, the arm twisting, the disregard for due process, how they have been sidelined. And so they have asked their lawyers to protest. So they have refused to participate in this offer. Now, what this means is that technically, SNIT will say that you have not taken up the first right. And so we are going ahead with our sale. Let me continue with this interesting letter. It says, per the provisions of clause 5.2, we provide the following details regarding the terms under consideration by the preferred bidder for the acquisition of SNIT's 60% equity stake in Ridge Royal Hotel. This is where the very interesting revelation is made. So, Mr. Osafumafu reveals in this letter that the prospective buyer is Rock City Hotel. The valuation of SNIT's 60% stake in Ridge Royal Hotel is $8.4 million. Capital expenditure projected for the refurbishment of the hotel is $2 million. Anticipated completion of refurbishment within 12 months following the execution of all agreements. This communication serves to fulfill our obligation under the aforementioned clause of the shareholders' agreement. Thank you, yours faithfully, for Social Security and National Insurance Trust, signed Kofi Osafumafu, Deputy Director General, IDD. So, the minority shareholders, per this letter, had 45 days to cough up $10.4 million. They have written protesting, and I have a copy of their letter to SNIT. But you see, Doc, fundamentally, I have always maintained that it is unethical, it is wrong, it is immoral for ministers of state, for public officials to participate in the sale of state assets is wrong. Because you see, such a major decision will clearly go to cabinet. There will be cabinet discussions. You are sitting in cabinet as a minister, you have all of this insider information, and then you are participating in the purchase. How can there be fair competition? How can people, members of the general public, fairly compete with a powerful cabinet minister sitting in cabinet, privy to all of these discussions, all of these insider matters? How can they compete with him? That's number one. And let me stress, before I move to point two, that this is a position that you recall that I have held for many, many years. Indeed, 16 years ago, the Honorable Dr. Omani Boama and I, when we were young activists in opposition, 2008, we took on the late Honorable Jacob Echebi Lamte when we saw a notice in the Ghanaian Times at the time that he was purchasing his bungalow, his official bungalow. We said that it was morally reprehensible, it was unethical, marks of conflict of interest. We went all the way to the Supreme Court on that matter. So I'm being very consistent here. And it's about the principle. It's not personal. I have nothing, against the actors in this matter. It's the principle. Now, I was coming to point number two. I have proceeded to look at the current status of Rock City Hotel, because somebody may argue that, probably he has relinquished his interests or his control over Rock City Hotel Limited. I have obtained all incorporation documents on Rock City, copies of which I have here. And you will observe that Rock City Hotel incorporated in 2016. He is still the director, he is still the sole beneficial owner. Now, in anticipation of taking over controlling shares of these 6 Senate hotels, he has only a few weeks ago, April 10th this year, incorporated what is now known as the Rock City Group of companies, where he is also director and the sole beneficial owner. So unlike what the Honorable Kenoforiata, for example, did at Data Bank, relinquishing, backing off, the Honorable Brian Champon has not done that. He is still very much in the driving seat. He is the director. He is the sole beneficial owner. He totally controls Rock City. So he is the one who is purchasing these 60% shares in these 6 hotels. The third point that ought to be emphasized is a constitutional matter. If you pay regard to Article 78 of our Constitution, Article 78 of the Constitution, 78(3), provides that a minister of state shall not hold any other office of profit or emolument, whether private or public, and whether directly or indirectly, unless otherwise permitted by the Speaker, acting on the recommendations of a committee of Parliament, on the ground of A, that holding that office would not prejudice the work of a minister, and B, that no conflict of interest arises or would arise as a result of the minister holding that office. So Article 78(3) is very clear. When you come to Article 98(2) of our Constitution, so 78(3) deals with ministers, 98(2) deals with MPs. Article 98(2) also provides that a member of Parliament shall not hold any office of profit or emolument, whether private or public, and either directly or indirectly, unless permitted to do so by the Speaker, acting on the recommendations of a committee of Parliament on the grounds that A, holding that office will not prejudice the work of a member of Parliament, and B, no conflict of interest arises or would arise as a result of the member holding that office. So I have proceeded to carry out diligent checks. Under our standing orders, Order 224, it is the Committee on Office of Profit that is responsible. That is the committee that this constitution is referring to. And under Standing Order 224, the procedure is outlined how an MP or a Minister of State applies to the committee, to the Speaker, and the response that should emanate from the Right Honourable Speaker. I have obtained the full list of all MPs and ministers who have applied and received approval from the Speaker. There are 47. And indeed, I have attached that list to the petition. The Honourable Brian Champong has never applied and does not have a certificate from the Speaker or permission from the Speaker to engage in office of profit, to hold an office of profit or emolument, and to be participating in this profitable transactions.
So you consider shareholding and directorship as holding office of profit?
Absolutely. That has always been the understanding, the convention. So those who are shareholders, who are directors, they apply. And if you go through the list of 47 MPs and ministers, and I'm not sure that I'll be fair to them to go through that list, unless they don't mind. You see that some of them indicate that I'm a director here, I'm a shareholder here, I want to still run my business. A number of them are professionals, lawyers, architects, some are pure business people, sole proprietorship, or they are director in some company, and they indicate. Indeed, under our new standing orders, if you go to Schedule 9, a form has now been very brilliantly and thoughtfully put together, and that form is in the schedule so that you have to fill, and you must indicate clearly that your business endeavors will not conflict with your work, because you are carrying out oversight, or you are Minister of State, you'll be sitting in cabinet, you'll be privy to insider information, so you must indicate that in your appraisal analysis, you do not think that there will be conflict of interest, because the Constitution is very clear that where there will be conflict of interest, the Speaker must not grant you that permission. So the committee looks at that, the Speaker also looks at that before granting. And so far, as I indicated, only 47 MPs and ministers have received that certificate. And let me digress a bit. Interestingly, the Honorable Cecilia Dapa, her name is not here. So when I hear some of the justifications being put out there that, oh, she's an astute businesswoman and all of that, as Minister of State, she ought to have received permission from the Speaker. Article 78 is very clear. She did not. But back to the Honorable Brian Champong, that constitutional provision has not been complied with. So it is clear to me that apart from questions about even the appropriateness of the policy decision, why do you want to divest? Already, SNIT, you are struggling. You've mismanaged a lot of your investments. Hotels that are doing well, like Labadi Beach, like Ridge Royal, why do you want to divest?
What if SNIT's position is that, yes, we have 2 hotels that are doing well, but we have 4 that are not doing well. In order to get anybody to be interested in taking them up, you need to add the 2 that are not doing well as a sweetener.
Well, that would be difficult for SNIT to argue, because if you come back to the original procurement notice, which has been mutilated, it has been violated with impunity, and is one of the reliefs that I'm seeking from Shraj to go into the entire procurement breaches that have arisen. SNIT itself says that preference will be given to those bidding for multiple hotels. That's how they just put it.
Yes.
Those bidding for multiple hotels. Yes. Yeah. So
it means that the person who's bidding for the 6 will be given preferential treatment than the person who focuses on one.
On one, yes. Yes. So, and And it did not say that everything will be given to one person. You understand? So that point has to be made clear. But you see...
So let me ask another question. Let me ask you another question before you go.
Yeah.
Now, Rock City
yeah.
is in the hospitality business,
yes.
specifically hotels.
Yes.
So it won't be strange that it intends to extend its operations. It would like to expand its operations into other places. That it believes that maybe it has a capacity to turn around those places where maybe SNIT has failed. And so on the face of it, it would not be unusual that you would have one hospitality company deciding to, take another when the opportunity arises.
Are you suggesting that Rock City Hotel Limited is the only company in the hospitality space?
No, I haven't said that. But I do not know if others were interested in putting bids. I don't have those details.
Do you think that it is right? This is a major government decision.
Yes.
Do you think it is right for government officials to be participating in such a transaction? That is my fundamental objection.
Would that not be a moral question rather than a legal one?
You see, if you look at the Constitution of Ghana, you look at the mandate of SHRAJ, conflict of interest is a major issue. It's a legal issue.
So maybe let's zero down to the reliefs you're seeking.
Yes.
Maybe that will give us...
It goes beyond just morality. These are constitutional matters. And you cannot just wish them away. And look, there's no country that pursues rule of law, pursues the tenets of good governance, seeks to eschew conflict of interest, cronyism, and will allow this. I mean, it's not a level playing field. It's not. You think that all those in the hotel space who will compete with a city minister will have a dog's chance? They would not. So these are the 5 reliefs that I'm seeking since you ask. 1, that SHRAJ launches a full-scale impartial investigation into the imminent prospective sale to the Honorable Brian Champon of 60% shares of hotels within SNIT's investment portfolio, which raised fundamental concerns bordering on conflict of interest and abuse of power. Because we all know that is SHRAJ mandate, matters to do with conflict of interest with abuse of power. Indeed, when we took the Honorable Jacob Echevilamte to court, the Supreme Court held that the appropriate forum is SHRAJ when it comes to conflict of interest and abuse of power. 2, that SHRAJ investigates SNIT's conduct and procurement processes regarding this matter in issue, particularly with the view to unraveling what led to the numerous violations of due process and unfair treatment. Because remember that the minority shareholders have written a protest letter and if you don't mind, I'll read it.
What's their protest? I want to hear their protest.
All right. So let me read their
Are they
protest.
Institutional investors or individuals?
Both.
Okay.
Both. Okay. And it's a very damning letter. So Eshan Anderson Yeboah Obin and Co. is the legal firm, and it's addressed to Mr. Kofi Osafo Mafo, the Director General, Social Security and National Insurance Trust Head Office, Accra. It's dated 10th May 2024. Dear Sir, notice of proposed sale of SNIT's 60% equity in Ridge Royal Hotel. We write and act as counsel for and on behalf of Vanef Company Limited and Ahoy Plaza Limited, minority shareholders of Ridge Royal Hotel. Our clients inform us that on the 12th of April 2024, they cited a letter in circulation dated 27th of March 2024, signed by the then Deputy Director General of SNIT on the above matter. And that is the letter I read, the 27th March 2024 letter. Our client instructs us to state that the said letter was addressed to the board chairman of Ridge Royal Hotel and copied to the Director General of SNIT, other officials of SNIT, the minority shareholders, and the managing director of Ridge Royal Hotel. We are further instructed by our clients that even though the letter was copied to them, they did not receive a copy of the above mentioned letter. We are also informed by our clients that it has come to their attention that for the past 1 year, SNIT has been discussing with a third party to offload its shares to the prospective shareholder to manage the hotel without recourse to the minority shareholders. Information also indicates that SNIT published its intention to sell its shares in the dailies. SNIT's intention to dispose its shares should have first been discussed at a shareholders meeting before going public. Okay. So before that notice, they should have they should have had a meeting with the shareholders before going public. They didn't do that. Further, to our client's information, on the 12th of March 2024, a meeting was held with the head of investments at SNIT, Patience Owusu, where our clients informed the SNIT representative that they would buy SNIT's share. And so the exercise to sell off SNIT's hotels should exclude the Ridge Royal Hotel, since the idea of purchasing the catering rest house, you know, Ridge Royal, it was catering rest house. Now the Ridge Royal Hotel was solely our client's idea. Unfortunately, SNIT did not write to our client as promised by the head of investments at the said meeting. Our client further instructs us to state that they only this week finally received a copy of the said letter notifying them of SNIT's intention to sell its shares. According to our client's instructions, no shareholders meeting has been held to discuss the sale of SNIT's shares in Ridge Royal Hotel. We therefore, on the instructions of our clients, the minority shareholders, request an emergency general meeting to discuss SNIT's proposed sale of 60% shares. It is proper that due process is followed as required by the shareholders' agreement to ensure equity and fair play. We look forward to receiving your prompt response and cooperation. And this is signed by the lawyers of the minority shareholders. Okay. So these are the matters drawing the attention of Shraj to in relief number 2 that we are seeking. Then relief number 3, that Shraj investigates the appropriateness and ethical concerns of the Honorable Brian Champon, who is a director and the sole beneficial owner of Rock City Hotel Limited, to be selected as the sole prospective buyer of 60% of SNIT's stake in the hotels within its investment portfolio, albeit under opaque circumstances, by his colleagues in government, who were all appointed by President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. 4, that Shraj makes a determination on the eligibility of Honorable Brian Champon to participate in this transaction, having regard to his non-compliance with Article 78.3 and 98.2 of the 1992 Constitution. And that's what I read on the Speaker's permission for you to hold an office of profit. 5, that considering the 45-day time frame stipulated in the above-mentioned SNIT letter of 27th March 2024, which lapsed on 12 May 2024, urgent steps be undertaken by Shraj to halt this apparently sleazy sale, which is not in the national interest.
12 May, that's 5 days ago.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, because the 45 days, so because SNIT served notice that after 45 days, they don't hear from minority shareholders, they are going ahead and giving it to Brian Champon. So we don't have time. And already they've done, from what insiders are telling me from the hotels, the worker unions and all of that, they have already done their inspections. You know, they've been going around. They are ready to take off. And you can see that they've already registered the group of, Rock City group of companies preparing, for the takeover. This is urgent. And that's why we are asking Shrike to step in immediately, to stop this imminent, sleazy sale. It cannot be allowed to continue.
Right.
And I am also concerned, as I conclude, on clear state capture and then on the future of the workers. There are thousands of workers working in these hotels. They clearly are not guaranteed their jobs if this sale, is allowed to continue and for the deal to be sealed. Yeah, so that's why this morning our petition Shraj.
Okay.
Randy.
Yes, sir.
Well, I mean, as a matter of principle, if a member of parliament suspects that there has been some impropriety in the disposal of public assets, it is completely normal and commendable for the member of parliament to seek an investigation to establish that there has been impropriety or there has not been impropriety. So the public interest angle, it is commendable. But what I find a little worrying is that Sami Okujeto has already pronounced on the matter. He's calling it sleazy and all kinds of accusations, which I don't think is right. No, Sami. The evidence, as far as you see it, you must be careful in these matters. You are calling people out for engaging in what you call sleazy.
Yeah.
But you've called for an investigation by SHRAC. You said you have petitioned SHRAC. So if you have petitioned SHRAC that there's public officials involved and this is public properties, and you want to make sure that the procurement processes were followed, and if the qualification of those who bought it in terms of they being, those are fine aims that everybody will support. But you see, you have already passed judgment and describing these people as engaging in sleazy activities. That's my worry. Otherwise, why? If you're looking for accountability and transparency, well, there's no problem. So you need to be careful about the way you would go about it, because from what this is what you sent to SHRAC.
Yes.
1 second. The SHRAC launches full-scale investigation into the imminent. Oh, the thing has not been done. I thought you said it's been done. I say it's imminent.
Yes, it's about.
So it hasn't
45 days has lapsed. 12 May. So
you say investigation into the imminent and prospective sale.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been done.
They're about to finalize it. Yeah. So
okay.
I want to stop it.
Okay, because it raises fundamental issues about conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2, SHRAC investigates the SNIS conduct because of the procurement processes, particularly to unraveling what led to the numerous violations. So you're saying that there has been violations of due process?
Yes. Yes, as raised by the lawyers of the minority shareholders. And I've attached their letter to the petition.
Unraveling of the numerous, so these are alleged?
Yes.
So here you should be alleged violations. Or isn't it, Randy? I mean, we have to be serious here.
But because the evidence is there. I've attached all the documentation.
I'm saying, you've taken your evidence to SHRAC.
Yes.
Everything is alleged until a proper investigation is conducted. Isn't it? So here, it is alleged. You say the other shareholder.
You can say that it is alleged. He is alleging. But you can, when you are speaking about it, you can say that.
Yes.
Yes.
No, even he in his petition should not be passing judgment. You say, look,
if I wasn't convinced that I have grounds to proceed to SHRAC.
Yes.
Yes. You don't go to SHRAC to waste their time.
But it doesn't mean that
you must have confidence in your case.
You
must
have you finished?
Assess your evidence and have the grounds before
your
you proceed.
conviction that you have grounds, your confidence that you have grounds, doesn't make it true. Yes, it's just your belief. It's just your confidence.
The only reason why I ask you that is that, for example, if you go to court and the prosecution is making its case, the prosecution doesn't say that I am alleging that he did this and that and that. The statement of case will say that on this date, so and so happened. They are putting out what they believe to be the facts. It is up to so the defense will have its opportunity, and it's up to the judge to determine whether.
But when you have a wording that is saying, SHRAG investigates SNIT's conduct and procurement processes, particularly with a view to unraveling what led to the numerous violations of due process.
Yes. I mean,
you know, anyway.
The facts are clear.
You have determined that there have been violations. You have determined, but it's an allegation until proven.
Yes,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Nana, you can say that.
Now, number 3, SHRAG investigates the appropriateness and ethical concerns of Brian Achampong, who is the director of Rock City, to be selected as the sole buyer of SNIT's 60% in the hotels, albeit under opaque circumstances, in your view, by his colleagues in government who are appointed by SHRAG with the determination of the eligibility of considering the 45. So I'm saying that when you read through, Samuel Kujato has passed judgments and condemning people based on his understanding of the matter. And I'm saying you have to be careful about that. Because you've taken the issue to SHRAG for determination. But otherwise, seeking an investigation into the sale of public interest should not be anything that is. But the way you craft it is, you are describing people as engaging in sleazy conduct. That is totally unfair. If somebody did that to you, you would complain. You can raise the issues that this board could border on conflict of interest, it could border of impropriety and all of it. You can raise those issues, but don't pass judgment. And that's what you seem to have done. Okay, now, let me go to the substantive matter. So SNIT, they advertised that they want to divest themselves of these hotels. Labadi Beach Hotel, La Palm Beach Hotel, Elmina Beach, Ridge Royal, Busua, Trust Lodge Hotel. Which one is Trust? Oh, it's in Takrady. But we all know that many of these hotels are losing money. La Palm Royal, for example, we all know. Elmina Beach, we know it's been out of operation for a long time. Busua, you know. So, and even the ones that are making money, I don't think SNIT is selling all. It says it's going to divest some of its shares.
It will lose control, 60%.
Yes, but it will still retain.
So the prospective buyer, if you see, they themselves state that the prospective buyer will now have control.
Yeah, because obviously SNIT feels that when they have control, a lot of the time they become subject to interference. So they want to have minority shares so that they don't become subject. Obviously, that's the thinking. Otherwise, they would have sold all the shares. But you know, in the first place, when this advert came in 2021. 2022.
Yeah. 7 February 2022.
Brian Achampong, was he a cabinet minister in 2022?
He was MP.
No, he was MP.
He was MP.
Yeah.
Okay. So, as we're speaking, I just got a message from somebody who works at SNIT. And this is what he says. There are issues raised that, let me not mention names for now, but let me just say that the message is saying that the minority owner in the SNIT Hotel in Cape Coast is Soso. This Soso is a high-ranking NDC member.
Okay.
I don't want to mention his name now.
Okay.
I'll forward it to you. Said when they bought it, when this person bought it, the NDC was in power. The catering rest house in Tamale was also bought by somebody who is a high-ranking NDC member. The name is here. I don't want to mention it for now. The catering rest house in Sunyani was also bought by somebody who's a high-ranking NDC member. Then at the catering rest house in Kumasi was also bought by somebody who is a high-ranking NDC member. Now, these people are not even known to be hoteliers. Unlike Brian Achiampong, who's putting up what people call the biggest hotel in Africa on his own. And so he's eminently qualified to run hotels that are failing, provided that the procedure, the correct procedure is gone through. But these people who bought all these hotels, even the Snid Hotel in Cape Coast that we are talking about, one of the shareholders is a big NDC man. Catering rest house in Tamale was bought by a big NDC man, name provided here. The catering rest house in Sunyani, the catering rest house in Kumasi, and so on. So if we are going to talk about politicians buying these properties, we can widen the investigation. I don't have a problem. Now, I'm told in the message that 8 companies submitted a bids in response to this SNIT advert. 8 companies. And the evaluation process took 3 years before Rock City emerged the winner. Okay. So, I'm told that SNIT advertised
It couldn't have been 3 years.
Sorry?
It couldn't have been 3 years.
Why?
From the date of this advert.
Actually, SNIT did an initial investment advertisement in 2020.
Okay.
Yes. And then they did a second advertising in 2021. So this is probably the third, because we're not getting. Okay. So 8 companies applied. And this is somebody who works at SNIT. And it says that it took 3 years, and then Rock City emerged the winner. Now, I'm saying that Brian Achiampong, Rock City. I mean, you've been to Rock City.
Yes.
I have been there. It's an amazing development, and you will feel proud that a Ghanaian is putting up this. But be that as it may, all these politicians who's bought all these state assets, including Brian Achiampong, if there has to be an investigation to show that there was no undue influence and that the proper procedures were followed. And mind you, the SNIT board is a very diverse board with heavy representation of labor. I deal with the SNIT board a lot because SNIT has some shares in STC. So I know that the general secretary, this is the secretary general, I don't know what they call it, the general secretary of TUC is a member of the SNIT board. And I would imagine that these are not, and it's not just him, I think there are another 2 more TUC representatives on the SNIT board. And I will find it difficult to imagine.
I think there's ICU.
Yeah, that these people on the SNIT board will condone any gross irregularity. But be that as it may, I am always in favor of investigation. Yeah, if because of the personalities involved and so on. On the face of it, Rock City buying hotels makes me happy because they've proven that they can do a good work with hotels. And if they can Rock City.
How have they proven that?
When you go to Rock City and you see the work that is going on there.
No, you should say that on the basis of their financials, not what you see.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's implied. But if you want me to state it explicitly, why?
No, not necessarily.
Because Rock City, well, let me say the owner of Rock City, the work is done with Rock City.
Okay. The investment?
Yes, okay. The work is done there. If I hear that he's involved in buying failing hotels. I'm happy because of the proven record. But be that as it may, if there has to be any investigation to ensure that the proper procedures were followed, I wouldn't have a problem at all. Because all of us are interested. But obviously, there's a record of senior politicians showing interest in buying up some of these assets. And if we have to do an investigation, which I welcome, it has to extend to some of this so we can have a thorough work.
Well, somebody can also petition Shraj on all the others.
Yes, I'm saying. Okay. No, I don't have a problem. But I'm saying that even Shraj, in doing his work, in terms of giving us a thorough work, should go into all of this so we can see. But, so it's a good thing that Sami wants investigation into it to ensure that there's been no undue influence by politically exposed persons. I don't have a problem. Right. But we should be careful that we don't pass judgment at this stage. Right. That would not be fair.
Okay.
Doc, just for the record, I'm looking at the Senate board as is currently constituted. And the TUC Secretary General is not on the board.
But TUC has a seat.
But there are reps of organized
TUC
labor.
has a seat.
Yeah, just
previously, I
precision,
think the previous Secretary General sat on it.
Yeah,
actually, the time I used to deal with them, the Secretary General was a member.
Okay.
Yes. TUC has a seat, ICU has a seat.
So the two reps of organized labor, Dr. Evans Ageme Jikum, and then Miss Ivy Beturu Naso.
Okay.
They are the reps of organized labor. There is also Mr. Joshua Ansan, Mr. Johnson Anu Amegashi. Then the Employers Association have Dr. Emmanuel Dusa Kodie. The chair of the board is Ms. Elizabeth Ohene, who's, we all know, the former minister and journalist. State Pensioners Association is represented by Mr. Benjamin Odote Esuman. And the president's nominees are Peter Osedia, Gloria Irena Maki Paida. Gloria Irena Maki Paida. And then the rep of the Ministry of Finance is the Honorable Abuna Osei-Asare. And there's Mr. Kofi Bosompim Osafumafo, the Director General. Mrs. Gifty Annan is the company secretary. So I just thought that for precision. Now,
let's take a break.
Let's take a break. Okay, all right. That's fine.
We'll be back shortly.
Okay.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana Live on Metro TV. Still with me on the show, I have Nana Kumia and Samuel Kujetua Blackwa. But what does wealth mean to you? Do you want to live like a tycoon? Remember, I was got the Mola, got the power. Ghana's newest lottery game draws live on Adom TV at 9 a.m., 12 noon, and 6 p.m. daily. Now pick up your phones, tablets, and computers and download the Game Park Games app on Play Store. You can also play on the website at www.gameparkgames.com or by dialing *946# on all networks. Just choose 4 numbers from 0 to 9. It's easy to play and easy to win. Shall we play this game and make some mola? Nobody beats our odds in Ghana. Game Park Games, more mola, more power. This game is regulated by a National Lottery Authority and is not for persons under 18. Play responsibly. Ayesoko, that could somebody be big, but Betway's cash out be bigger. Betway is giving you more control over every thrilling bet you place. Enjoy the biggest and most reliable cash out in Ghana on Betway without any hassle. Sign up today at betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. It's not for persons under 18. This is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more. And Blue Jeans energy drink has been on the Ghanaian market for over 20 years. We already know what it does for the body. It contains vitamins and nutrients like vitamin B2, B3, B6, B12, as well as taurine and guarana, which are known to boost your strength and energy as well as promote high performance and endurance. Blue Jeans energy drink has been tested and tried, and it's indeed the best. Blue Jeans Energy Drink is for bold and active men and women. So go and grab a cold can and power your day. It's in shops nationwide, and you can reach Budget Cash and Carry Limited on 0208 128 190 or 055 001 0000. All right, so let's see how we can wrap up on this issue and try and move on. Yes, Sam.
Yeah, Doc, I think that it is important for the principles to be established. And principle is principle. It should not matter whether you are MPP or NDC or PPP or NRP or CCC. The position I have always held, which I believe is consistent with our Constitution, is consistent with Code of Conduct for public officers, is that when you hold these high positions as public officials, you cannot engage in conduct which borders on conflict of interest. You cannot. The claim that there have been some known NDC officials or NDC members who have purchased assets belonging to the state. I welcome any investigation into that. As I sit here, I'm not aware of any sitting member of parliament, of any minister of state during the NDC period, when the NDC was in power, participating in these sales, buying shares, controlling shares, outright purchases. I'm not aware. So those who are alleging should prove. We have our documentation. Bring yours, and I will support you. I mean, these are principles. It shouldn't matter whether the person is NDC or MPP. And there ought to be a distinguishing criteria in these matters. It's not just enough to say, I know somebody who purchased some property, who is a known NDC official. When was the purchase done? At the time the purchase was done, was the person a minister of state, a member of parliament, holding any position that brings influence to bear, that allows the person to influence the process? So let us not deliberately, fudge the issues, obfuscate, and, overly simplify matters and make it look as though it is just about MPP and NDC, that it is because the person purchasing now is MPP. That's not the issue. It's about the principle. It is about conflict of interest. It is about being a public officer, occupying a certain position, which allows you to bring a certain influence to bear. It's about procurement processes. Are the procurement processes credible? Do they follow the tenets of the law? Have they been skewed to favor any particular person? In this matter that we are discussing, I have read letters to you from lawyers of other shareholders raising fundamental concerns about the disregard for due process, the breach of shareholders' agreement. I mean, these are major issues. You cannot gloss over these issues. When you look at SNIT's own March 27, 2024 letter, it's a concession. You go advertise years prior. You go ahead, initiate talks with your sole buyer. You are touring facilities, making arrangements for takeover, incorporating new companies. And you are now, years after, you are now writing to the minority shareholders giving them 45 days to indicate their interest. Something you ought to have done before going public, before advertising. I mean, these are major issues. So we deal with facts. We deal with the evidence that comes to our attention in the pursuit of our oversight responsibilities. The whole essence of having a parliament, having MPs, is to make sure that we are pursuing checks and balances, that we are holding the executive accountable, and that when these matters are brought to the fore, we carry out our own independent checks, investigations, validations, and when we are convinced that there are grounds, substantial grounds, to demand action by the relevant state institutions, we proceed accordingly. And that is what I have done in this matter. And for more than 16 years, we have been very, very consistent. So if anybody knows of any NDC minister or MP who participated in a similar transaction in the past, nothing stops them. I am not aware. If it had come to my attention, I will have raised these matters. So I think that we should all have standards. We should establish certain principles and let us proceed on those principles. That is how we build a clean democracy. That is how we are able to ensure that a level playing field is established. That is how we are able to avoid what is now being called in the literature state capture, where if care is not taken, you see abuse of power taking new heights, and those who wield power just, skew processes, violate the rights of others, disregard due process, disregard our procurement laws, and just continue on the state capture spree. Ultimately, we suffer. The country suffers. Workers suffer. It does not help, the larger society. It is not in the national interest. And I am convinced so strongly that this is a step that is in the right direction. And I hope that Shraj would not disappoint us. It will not let the country down, that they will act expeditiously, because these are matters that are time-bound. And as you can see, plans are far advanced. Companies have been registered. And the state capture is about to be, consummated once again in this arena. And Shraj cannot, afford to disappoint us. They should act swiftly and make sure that justice is done in this matter, as the Constitution, requires of that institution, the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice. We all want to see justice. I'm sure that there is, considerable national interest in this matter. We want to see justice, and justice ought to be manifestly done in this matter.
Well, well, I'm happy that Samuel Kujeto takes this stance. It is good. Also, Samuel Kujeto sought to imply that I was trying to simplify the matter. I haven't done so. I am widening the matter so that it becomes comprehensive. Because what are we talking about? We are talking about the acquisition of properties by politically exposed persons. Isn't that what we are talking about? That's what we are talking about. Acquisition of state assets by politically exposed persons. And if the people are politically exposed, we need to make sure that political connections do not affect the processes, the laid-down processes, and all of us are interested in it. So I made the point that there have been a lot of politically exposed persons who have acquired some of these properties, same hotels and so on. And so, and I'm sure Samuel Kujeto, you are not aware, but SHRAC, if they're going to be seized of the matter, should broaden it. Because I don't want tomorrow that another person will go and say, Randy ABBEY too did this, investigate, so did it. So they can have a comprehensive investigation and give us a report that would endure. So it's not about you knowing or not knowing. You have taken to SHRAC what you know. But SHRAC, in investigating, should look at all the instances and broaden it. Because we're talking about state capture. It's all about politically exposed persons getting into this business of acquisitions. And there's a danger that there's some state capture or favoritism or using their... So I'm all for it. I don't have a problem at all. I had a problem with the way that you pass judgment and describing people as criminals. That should not. And the reason why I didn't even mention the people, other politically exposed persons, because I haven't said what they did was wrong. Because I don't know. Maybe they went through the correct procedure. And that's what all of us are looking for, that the procedures that were gone through are procedures that have been prescribed. That's all.
All right. So Nana, we have learned that a petition to remove Kisi Ajaben as special prosecutor has been forwarded by President Akufo-Addo to the Chief Justice. The petition, dated April 30, 2024, was sent to the President by former Special Prosecutor Martin Amidu and conveyed to Chief Justice Gertrude Tokono on May 6, 2024. So the President received it on April 30, and after 6 days, he sent it to the Chief Justice. And we're told that Mr. Amidu is alleging that by holding a press conference to complain about the conduct of the judiciary amounts to abusing judges and bringing the judiciary into disrepute. He also says that the special prosecutor abuses citizens' rights with arrest and detentions, and he cites the cases of Cecilia Adapa and Professor Frimpong Boateng, violation of citizens' right to information. He cited the OSP's decision to decline to provide him a pen drive with copies of appointment letters and salaries of all staff of the office as exempt, as denial as well as allegations of appointment breaches in recruitment of staff. He says only the president could appoint staff of OSP until a board was put in place, although a board ratified the decision. And he says that he also refers to what he says are procurement breaches. And those who've seen the thing says that specific instances of the breaches were not cited. But Joy News says it's gathered that as required by Article 140 of the Constitution, the Chief Justice is in the process of deciding if there's a prima facie case to establish a committee for Mr. Ajaben's impeachment. In fact, we're told that the Chief Justice has written to the Special Prosecutor to respond to the thing, and then that's when the issue of determination of prima facie will be done. And sources indicate that that may be related to an explosive press conference held by the Special Prosecutor, during which he alleged that judges had conspired against him. Okay, so I've told you already about what it says, that the press conference, the complaints about the judiciary constitute abuse of judges and bringing the judiciary into disrepute. Okay, so that's basically the issue. So 30th April, it was sent to the president. The president, by sit with alacrity, sent it to the Chief Justice.
What do you mean by alacrity?
Oh, 6 days. Because those who have sent petitions to the president that have not been forwarded for 3 years or so will obviously see this as
discrimination,
a record-breaking dispatch.
Jet set this.
Now, in a related development, okay, some prominent Ghanaians, including former Auditor General Daniel Yaudomolovo, have filed a petition to Parliament seeking a bipartisan probe into the conduct of the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, in the investigation regarding the stash of money found in the residence of former Sanitation Minister Cecilia Adapa. According to the group, which also has outspoken anti-graft campaigner Martin Kpebu, security analyst Dr. Dambona, academic professor Ransford Jampo, and over 83 other Ghanaians spanning different walks of life, argue in their petition that Yoko had more than enough basis to investigate the former minister for money laundering, as she has been inconsistent and unable to provide a source of the huge amount of money seized at a residence by the special prosecutor. Quote, the failure to explain the source of the money should have been the cornerstone of the investigation. The petition, which was submitted to Parliament on Thursday, May 16th, that's yesterday, noted, among others, it also raised concerns about what the group described as a deliberate refusal by Yoko to take steps to protect the money which had been seized from the residence of a former minister by the OSP. Upon receipt of the docket, Yoko did not act timeously to seize the money that the OSP was returning to Madam Cecilia Dapaah, as publicly stated by the OSP. The petition also said Yoko has been inconsistent with their public commentary and actions in the investigation. The development comes in the wake of the standoff between state anti-corruption agencies investigating the former minister over the stash of money. And the OSP is on record to have stated Yoko lacks the appetite to probe the matter despite the detailed information he shared with them. And last week, I was on record to have said that for the life of me, this is the first time that I see anti-corruption agencies trading accusations, you know, and now these are the issues.
But let me just comment on the second one, the petition to Parliament over Yoko by Mr. Domelevo and his colleagues.
89 others. 83 others. Right?
Okay. Wouldn't it have been better if they had petitioned Shrag to investigate the matter?
Well, they say they're asking for a bipartisan probe. I don't know if Shrag is clothed with the jurisdiction over what they want. I don't know.
I think that would have been challenging, yeah. Because Shraj is looking more at conflict of interest, corruption, cronyism, abuse of power, and administrative infractions. So
it's all in there. There's corruption in there.
No, but you see, they are
not accusing Yoko of corruption.
They are not calling for investigation to Cecilia Dapaah, rather into Yoko's conduct. So can Shraj
investigate Yoko's conduct?
Yoko's conduct.
They're asking Parliament to investigate
Yoko, yes. Yoko's conduct in the matter.
Yoko's conduct.
That's what they're asking for.
Not the Cecilia Dapaah conduct. No.
Because
Yoko's conduct.
The Cecilia Dapaah, I mean, that some of the charges are suspected corruption. So I thought...
No.
It's
not asking Parliament to investigate
Cecilia
Dapaah.
I'm not saying...
as well. You are right that Shraj can look into the Cecilia Dapaah. As for that, But what Domelevo and Co are looking for is
Yoko's conduct.
They are concerned about Yoko's conduct. Yeah.
But what is the point? Because at the end of the day, you want closure on the Cecilia Dapaah matter.
Yeah.
If a state investigative body, you believe they haven't done their work well, but what is it that you want to achieve? The Cecilia Dapaah matter. You see?
Maybe they want a functional Yoko.
Because Yoko, in your view, has not done well in this Cecilia Dapaah matter. So then Parliament will then form a committee and call Yoko and
maybe other parties. Maybe in the course of it, they might have to call the OSP.
Yes.
They might have to call the AG.
Yes.
Yeah. They might have to call them. They're the petitioners.
And then Parliament at the end of the day will direct Yoko that go and investigate.
Maybe we'll establish whether Yoko did the right thing or didn't do the right thing, and then you believe that it's not a proper forum.
I believe a better
forum.
Maybe it's a proper forum because we don't know what will come out of it. Right. But I'm wondering if
you would have preferred
if a state, you believe a state agency has not acted correctly as far as its mandate is concerned, or even if they have vacated their mandate, and if Parliament was the but you know, like I have said, Parliament is a very strong institution because they hold the power of the purse. So anything that has to do with the conduct of people paid with public monies, Parliament can investigate. But I thought that the substantive matter on which they are worried if they took it to SHRAG. Because I don't know if Parliament, at the end of the day, is going to compel Yoko to investigate. But let's wait and see how it goes. The first one, Martin Amidu's petition to the president. It's interesting because Martin Amidu has held the position of the OSP. So if he is raising complaints about the office of the OSP, it should be taken seriously.
He's done that from day one. Even before the man assumed office, when he was nominated.
Yes. So now if he has done a formal petition, because of his status as the, actually he's the first occupant of that office, it should be taken seriously. And the president has done the right thing by forwarding it to the Chief Justice, who now is going to establish if there's a good case, what the lawyers call prima facie, to proceed with the investigation. So that's all fine, as provided by the laws. But you had mentioned the alacrity with which the presidency had forwarded this petition about the OSP to SHRAG. And that I suspect your use of alacrity, you have at the back of your mind that there has been other petitions.
At least 3.
That the president has not forwarded.
Yes.
With the same alacrity.
Yes.
As he's forwarded this one.
In fact, he has arrested those petitions.
But we would agree, initially, that this particular petition against the OSP is coming from somebody who cannot be said to be aligned or in some alignment with the president. So we can assume that in forwarding this petition, there is no, you cannot have any suspicion that this is some grand design to get rid of the OSP.
In fact, the other 3 were also submitted by people who are not aligned to the president.
Yes. Okay.
But they were against the appointees of the president.
Yes, and this one too is against an appointee of the president. But this business of the president forwarding petitions, is it automatic? Or the president himself, the office of the president himself, has to be convinced that this petition has some merit?
Well, when the Charlotte Osei one came, we're told that if you read the Constitution, the president is simply a conveyor belt. The Constitution says that when he receives it within a certain period, he has to submit it to the CJ. The CJ, to within a certain period, must let the person against whom the petition is made see it and respond. Then within a certain period, the CJ must establish whether there's a prima facie case or not.
Who said the president is a conveyor belt?
Oh, I might have to look for all those who made that point. I might have to look for. There are quite a lot of people. Some of the people that we call legal luminaries and people who.
But has the presidency itself said it's a conveyor belt?
I might have to check. I'm not too sure about
because, I mean, if it's just a conveyor, like a postmaster, he's delivering a parcel.
They say when you look at that article, nowhere does the Constitution provide the president with the right or the privilege to do anything other than forward upon
You shouldn't even read it.
Oh, well, it doesn't say he can read or cannot read, but it says that
as soon as you receive,
it says that when you read the thing. They say when you read it, what it says is that when he receives it, he has a period to submit it.
Okay.
It doesn't say that he must look at it, and if he is satisfied.
No, if
unlike the CJ, where the article speaks about he writing to the person, receiving a response, determining prima facie before then constituting a panel. So the president is not giving that.
Yeah. So in this case, the president is just delivering the parcel. But because he's been given 6 days, we can reasonably assume that he must look at the petition.
He's not been given 6 days. I think
That's what
it's
you said.
7 days. Yeah.
7 days.
But he did it in 6 days.
So if he's been given 7 days or 6 days,
Yes.
I think we can fairly assume that the framers of the Constitution intend that the presidency should look at the petition before forwarding. But if it's just mere forwarding, I mean 6 days, 7 days to merely forward a petition from Jubilee House.
Just in case there's a casual traffic.
Traffic cannot last for 3 days. And in the first, the president, they always have dispatch riders. So if it's just merely delivering the petition, it could be done in 1 hour or less.
Yes.
Just get a dispatch rider.
Yes.
And they drive through the streets to the Supreme Court, to the office of the Chief Justice. The Chief Justice says, I have received this petition from the AE there, and that's it. But obviously, if you look at the wording, the petition is supposed to be looked at by the president to do some gatekeeping before it is forwarded.
They argue that, those who hold the conveyor belt position, they argue that if that were the intent of the Constitution, it would have been clear. And they cite examples. For example, in the same article, the CJ, it's clear what the CJ should do. So you receive it, send the thing to whoever the complaint is made against. Upon receipt, determine a prima facie. If you determine, then you set up a committee. Now, if the framers of the Constitution intended for the president to make a determination before forwarding, it would have said so.
Okay.
So, for example, what we were discussing a few weeks ago, the impasse between Parliament and Executive, that it is clear that when the president receives it, if he has a reason to not to assent, he can do ABCD. So their point is that to the extent that the Constitution doesn't... the
president has no say in the matter.
That was the argument they made.
But if
and I listened as a student.
You cannot be a student.
I always learn.
You have 2 PhDs.
I always learn.
You have 2 PhDs.
Oh, no, not 2.
But you see, those who make that argument would have to answer as to why the Constitution appointed the president as a postboy. Because I mean, basically, they say that the president is a postboy. You get it. You receive this thing. Oh, this is a petition from Randy Abbey. Oh, then he has to go to...
one of the petitioners whose petition was not conveyed, Prince Derek J. He sent this one. It says, Esankuma Yaopon, Director of Law School. He's just been nominated to the Appeals Court.
Appeals Court, yes.
It says, Esankuma Yaopon, Samson Ladi Ayindini, and Kofi Bentil of Occupy Ghana said the president is only a conveyor belt in such Article 146 petition cases.
Now, these are people who should know their stuff. But I have a simple question for them. That's why I ask you categorically that this business of conveyor belt, has it come from the presidency? Or is from people who are giving their own interpretation? Because if you are giving that interpretation that the president is merely a postboy, you have to answer as to why the Constitution would appoint the president as a postboy. Because Martin Amido or any of the petitioners could then directly take the petition to the Chief Justice. Why do they have to travel to Jubilee House? I didn't know Jubilee House, you can't just travel there.
Somebody is accusing you of having also said that the president is only a conveyor belt. He says I should check the archives, but you also said it.
So, they have to answer as to why the Constitution of Ghana would appoint the president of Ghana as a postboy who merely has to deliver a post. It cannot be. It cannot be. Because the petitioner could just take the petition to the Chief Justice, who has the power to establish whether there is a good case to establish an investigative committee. If the president has no input at all into the matter, why would the Constitution appoint him as postboy? and that, Randy, you have a petition about the conduct of a public official like the special prosecutor. You can take it to the Chief Justice, who has the power to determine if your petition has enough merit to proceed, isn't it? Why would the Constitution direct you to go through Jubilee House? And we all know that going through Jubilee House, it's more difficult than going to the Supreme Court. look at the imposing security infrastructure at Jubilee House. That you have to pass through all of that, and the layers of secretaries and officials before it gets to the office of the president. Why would they require you to go through all of that? So that the president can then give it to a dispatcher to take it away. When you can go directly to the chief. I'm going to the chief.
So apparently, when it comes to the removal of the OSP, it's not on the basis of 146. It's actually Section 15 of the OSP Act.
Okay.
Okay, and this is what it states. A person who seeks to remove the special prosecutor from office shall submit a petition to the president. Where the president receives a petition, that's 3. Where a president receives a petition for the removal of the special prosecutor, the president shall within 7 days refer the petition to the Chief Justice, who shall within 30 days determine whether there's a prima facie case. Where the Chief Justice determines that there's a prima facie case, the Chief Justice shall within 14 days set up a committee consisting of A, a chairperson who is the Justice of the Supreme Court, B, a lawyer of at least 15 years standing at the bar, and C, one other person with expertise in investigations. 5, the committee shall within 90 days investigate the matter and make its recommendation to the president through the Chief Justice. 6, the president shall act in accordance with the recommendations of the committee.
Yeah, but this is no different from what we've been saying. That
but this one says that where the president receives a petition for the removal of the special prosecutor, the president shall, so it's mandatory, within 7 days, send it. Now, does 146 also say the president shall?
Yes, check. It's virtually the same thing.
Well, what is it saying?
This is 1462. A justice of the Superior Court of Judicature or a chairman of the regional tribunal may only be removed in accordance with the procedure specified in this article if the president receives a petition. That's 3, 1463. If the president receives a petition for the removal of a justice of a superior court other than the Chief Justice, or for the removal of the chairman of a regional tribunal, he shall refer the petition to the Chief Justice, who shall determine whether there is a prima facie case. So it's virtually a lifting. It's also a shall.
So it's mandatory.
So in that case, the president has been appointed as a postboy.
Yes, it's mandatory.
Yes.
Yes.
Because as soon as he receives it, within 6 days, he must dispatch it.
Yes.
Why did they make the president a postboy?
So the question is that why hasn't the president done his postboy duties?
Because obviously he doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
So the president now, it's obvious that he picks and chooses what when to respect the constitution and when not to respect the constitution.
Because obviously the president doesn't believe that he's a postboy. He believes that the requirement that the thing passes through his office implies that he has an
Let's say upon receipt he shall.
This is one of the cases that we have to resolve through constitutional drafting. Because why would anybody require a petitioner? A petitioner who is petitioning. So who are you petitioning? Are you petitioning the president or are you petitioning the Chief Justice?
It's probably because at the end of the process, the president will have to act. The recommendations come back to the president.
In fact, if you read it,
when you read,
the president cannot even vary.
The findings.
Yes.
But you don't need for him. All the Chief Justice has to inform him is that we've received this thing and we are working on it, or we've done this work and this is the findings. Why would you, the petitioner, Randy, be required to go to Jubilee House and be able to move your way up to the office of the president to deliver a petition when you can just go to the Chief Justice? You know, so and then from what Sami is reading, he says not he may,
no, shall.
He shall.
Yes.
He shall.
That means
so that's where the conveyor belt agreement comes from.
Yeah.
And why is the president the conveyor belt?
As for that one,
You
boycotted.
So in that case, who boycotted? Boycotted what?
And you see, and
the constitutional drafting. So you are unable to tell us.
Me?
You.
Yeah.
No. What are you talking about?
Oh, you boycotted the drafting.
You mean you want to say you? Who? Me?
You, Nana.
Me directly. When they were doing that thing, I was barely out of school. So who are you talking about? My party.
I thought you were after school.
My party. But when they were doing
your tradition, make it tradition. It's ideological tradition.
When they were doing
but you know, on the matter of the prima facie case, it's for the Chief Justice to determine.
My party hadn't been formed.
Yeah, that's why I use tradition. Yeah.
No, but there are people like Safu Mafu who, if you say tradition, were part. So even that one, it doesn't wash. But there's an interesting problem that we have on our hands. But
why is it a problem? The president must be a servant leader at some point.
So you should deliver your pass.
At some point, it's to put him in the know. Must he always be the one giving instructions?
So now you have the situation where the presidency is being put in a position where it can be accused of discrimination. Because you've said that there are 2 or 3 petitions.
Yes.
You mentioned the chap. What's his name?
Prince Derek Ajay.
He's petitioned the president about what?
His was about former CJ, Sophia, her lordship.
He did a petition against the Chief Justice,
Chief Justice
herself.
Yes, over land issues.
There's a problem because these petitions would have to be determined by the Chief Justice before it can proceed. Now, if you are petitioning against the Chief Justice...
No, but in that case, there's a...
When it's about the Chief Justice,
there's a different procedure.
There's a different procedure.
Yeah.
Then there were two against the current Electoral Commission boss. There were 2.
Okay.
One,
and those ones, so the president didn't forward.
He hasn't.
So then, we have to find out why. If the president is shall, Parliament can help us in this.
How?
Or they can file an urgent question.
For who to answer? The president?
No, there are people working in the office of the president.
Or the Attorney General?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because we need clarity on the matter. I do not take the view that the president is merely a delivery boy, a delivery office. I mean, the office of the president is a delivery office.
The Constitution says when you receive, you shall.
You shall.
Yes.
Yes. So there are petitions before the office that have not been delivered.
Yes.
So then you open up the president to charges of discrimination.
Yeah. So you see, when is the Chief Justice? The president has a more greater role.
Okay.
He's more involved. So what says 6 says that where the petition is for the removal of the Chief Justice, the president shall, acting in consultation with the Council of State, appoint a committee consisting of 2 justices of the Supreme Court, one of whom shall be appointed chairman by the president, and 3 other persons who are not members of the Council of State, nor members of Parliament, nor lawyers. Yeah.
Because the Chief Justice.
Yes. So in the case of the Chief Justice, the president
but in this case,
really takes the lead.
Who the person is not a Chief Justice. The president should merely deliver.
Except that the president also then waits for the outcome, and then he acts on the recommendation of the committee.
Yeah, but he shall deliver.
Yeah.
Say, hey, I've gotten this petition that I should remove this person. Get it and look at it.
Yeah. And it's for the Chief Justice to determine if there is a prima facie.
Okay, so a lawyer, Nana also says, the framers of the Constitution probably thought that the person being sought to be removed is an appointee of a president. And so it's only proper that the president is made aware of the petition.
By having him deliver.
Yeah. And
they know that he won't personally deliver.
And you know,
his office.
And you know, to the extent that the president also acts at the end of the process. So it's good to let him know about it. He should be in the picture.
And the way to let him know is to have him deliver.
Yeah,
but but so in this case, those petitions which Randy, you have mentioned about 2 that the president hasn't forwarded. Then there's an issue as to why.
Maybe the post office was on strike at the time.
So maybe you have to ask the Attorney General for aid, or somebody must seek an interpretation. Because it's a very funny situation.
So the president is pretty obvious by conduct that the president chooses which petition he picks and chooses which ones he has an interest and should be forwarded, and which ones he has an interest and shouldn't be forwarded. Although it is clear,
it's a shall.
What do you mean it has an interest? No, he probably doesn't see the merits of.
But that's not for him to determine.
Where is it? You see, the
merit issues, the prima facie issues.
If you read the thing, the establishment of prima facie is vested in the CJ, which presupposes that the framers of the Constitution do not expect the president to establish a prima facie and therefore decide to forward or otherwise. So it is pretty obvious that who the Constitution places the responsibility of establishing a prima facie or otherwise is the Chief Justice, not the President. So the President cannot decide not to forward, even if he finds it unmeritorious.
Yes, but you see, that's what I'm saying. That so why put the President in the picture at all?
That's what we can't answer.
It's a difficult because
it's already been done.
He has nothing to do with the matter. He only comes in when the Chief Justice has gone through the processes and there's a report. It's forwarded to the President. So why would the President, why would put him in the middle of the delivery?
I'm sure that you go and look at it and you find that maybe they even picked it up from either a previous constitution or or elsewhere, you know.
Somebody should seek an interpretation.
But there's no problem with the President,
because you see, Randy,
being a servant once in a while.
But Randy, the danger is that the President will receive 200 petitions.
Just forward them. Yes. So the part of the CJ's job is to establish prima facie in petitions.
So the President should just
forward them. That's what the Constitution says you should do. So because you see now, if you forward petition A and you don't forward petition B, how do you do you get what I'm saying? How do you justify?
I think, and this is my last point on the matter, clearly this is one of the issues that we have to get interpretation.
Interpretation. Is it not clear?
No.
It's clear. It says he shall.
If it's clear, then why are some forwarded and some not forwarded? Because obviously the President or the office of the President believes that it's not a conveyor belt.
But is it about what they believe?
But that's what is happening.
That is in black and white.
Yeah, but that is what is happening.
Now, my little worry is that, you see, when I hear you, when you say that the President cannot just be a conveyor belt, and that when the President receives the thing, if you look at even the 7 days and others, he obviously would be expected to look at it and determine whether it is meritorious or not. I hear you on that. But interestingly, that article deals with the establishment of prima facie, which is what you believe that the 6-day period should be what the President is expected to do. However, the same article deals with the issue of prima facie. So the article recognizes that.
And vests that responsibility in
the article recognizes that that must be established. However,
by another office.
But however, it does not leave that with the President. It gives that to the CJ. So once that is given to the CJ, it means that the President's jurisdiction, as far as that determination is concerned, is ousted by the Constitution. So he cannot.
So now the question then is, those other petitions that were not forwarded, what you said, the President has breached the laws.
It was just not respecting the Constitution.
But I'm saying that why are we going to allow that to fester? So let's seek an interpretation. No, because what you have on our hands is that some petition, according to you, you know of 3. So it could even be more.
It could be.
So why are we allowing that situation to continue? Why is the presidency forwarding some and not forwarding some?
But they should tell us. When they disagreed with Parliament.
Well, the question has not been that. So I said either we ask the Attorney General why, because that's the President's lawyer, or we seek an interpretation. That delivery, is the President merely a conveyor belt, or he's supposed to sieve?
Sammy, please ask that question on my behalf.
Or he's supposed to sieve?
Please.
You know. So this is one of the issues that we need to because it's problematic.
But as for this one, it's English. It's not even law.
Yes, but obviously, it is being subject to interpretations. Some interpreted that, look, you shall forward. But once it hasn't been forwarded, it means somebody there thinks differently. That's why it hasn't been forwarded.
Somebody just can't be bothered.
Or is merely negligence?
Not negligence. I mean, they can't be bothered.
So, and these are weighty constitutional matters.
Yeah.
And you don't want the presidency to be accused of discrimination.
Yes.
When, from the simple reading, it doesn't have that option.
Because even from a governance, Nana, even from a transparency point of view and a good governance point of view, to the extent that the Constitution has provided for an office holder to determine the prima facie, let it go there and let the office holder determine that this petition is frivolous.
I agree with you.
So at least the presidency is not. So when you have removed one, you have forwarded for one commissioner to be removed, and then you have appointed a commissioner, and there are 2 petitions against the commissioner, and you fail to do what the Constitution says you do and what you did in the case of a previous commissioner. How do you expect any fair-minded, I don't want to say right-thinking, but any fair-minded person to believe that you are acting in a very fair...
But in this instance that we are talking about, it's also against somebody appointed by the president. So, really. But for me, there's a difficulty. And we shouldn't allow constitutional difficulties to fester. Because clearly, from the reading that Sami has provided, the president is supposed to merely convey, not to do anything else about it. But then he's been given 6 days or 7 days to do that conveyance. Why would they give him 7 days to convey a petition? Even if there's traffic, the president has a dispatch. Even STC, we have a dispatch. So why would they give him 7 days? So I'm saying there is some difficulty in that particular clause.
Is there difficulty in the clause or the difficulties in the conduct of the person who is supposed to respect the Constitution?
There's a difficulty in the clause because the clause says the president shall, but it gives him 7 days.
Yes.
Now, merely forwarding a petition to the chief, that should not be given 7 days.
He's president. You don't want to appear to be rushing in. They may want to do a cover letter that find attached a petition we have received. So,
treating him with dignity.
Yeah, treating him with some dignity.
But I mean, you'd agree that we have to seek proper interpretation.
Yeah, I mean, especially looking at the apparent selectivity.
Yes.
You know, yes. It's a good call. And the president hasn't held matters by not being consistent. If you are conveyor belt, just be conveyor belt. You receive it. Fortunately, within the process, you have a sifting opportunity with another office, the Chief Justice. You
would agree that
the Chief
clearly,
Justice will look at
you would
the
agree,
merits.
You would agree that clearly the office of the president doesn't believe it's a conveyor belt. Obviously.
Well, they should tell us. But if that's their belief, then,
that's their belief.
It would appear to...
Otherwise, why have they forwarded
the president is a postboy because he's also the sole appointing authority. It is also to draw his attention of the process undertaken by his appointee. The buck stops with him after a decision of the Supreme Court, since it was the authority that can appoint or disappoint.
Yes.
But and he acts on the recommendation.
Yes. But his acting on the recommendation should not be due... You shouldn't make him a delivery boy. What is a delivery boy? Okay, in the matter of acting on the recommendation?
Even if you disagree
with what?
With the president being made a delivery boy or post boy, even if you disagree, that is what the Constitution says.
Yes.
So when you swear an oath to abide by the Constitution, you play your role as post boy until that particular part of the Constitution is amended.
Let me tell you one thing. What the Constitution says is not what is on the paper.
I don't understand.
What the Constitution says is what is interpreted by the Supreme Court.
I don't get it.
Yeah. When there has been an interpretation.
Yes.
In this matter, there's no interpretation by the Supreme Court.
There's no basis for an interpretation.
No.
There's
no, listen.
Is there any interpretation contrary to what is on the face of this?
This is trite knowledge.
It's not.
What the Constitution says
Yes.
is what is interpreted by the Supreme Court. That's a basic fact.
No, but Nana, that
So-
only arises. Not only arises
It doesn't-
when there
There
is
has
an
been-
issue.
No.
there has
But
been
now
no-
there's an issue.
There has been
What
no
is the issue?
interpretation.
The issue is that your reading of what the clause says,
Yes.
and obviously the president's reading is different. It's different.
Well, the president hasn't said.
Uh-huh.
The president of the presidency hasn't said
Yeah.
that he is not a conveyor belt. They
Yeah.
haven't said that the
So-
understanding of the constitution is that the president must serve and establish whether there is a basis
He
to
hasn't said
submit
so.
or not. Yes.
But
So why are you creating a
No,
conflict?
no. But no, the bottom line, what I'm saying is a basic fact that what the Constitution says is how the Supreme Court interprets it. In this case, the president hasn't said it's a conveyor belt, but his actions show that it's not a conveyor belt. Otherwise, those 3 petitions or 4 that you are talking about
In
should
my
have gone.
view, his action shows that he's not abiding by the oath of office he took. He's not respecting the constitution.
Okay.
That's my reading of it.
And if the president is not respecting the Constitution, why are we sitting down and looking? Why are we sitting down and
What
looking?
do you expect me to do?
No, I'm not you.
Yes. No, I am speaking. So when you say that, it's like you expect me to do something else.
No, I'm saying, why are we? So it's not you. I'm saying, why are we
Okay.
sitting down and looking? If the president is breaking the Constitution, why are we sitting down and looking? You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, so we shouldn't leave these matters
Okay.
to
All right.
and
Yes,
obviously
Doc.
there is some interpretation needed, whether the president is merely a conveyor belt, if that's the intention of the merely a conveyor belt, or he's also supposed to do some sieving. And obviously the president believes that there has to be some sieving, because
But
otherwise,
the law
why would
is
he?
clear on who should do the sieving. That's the point I make to you.
Yes. Then why pass it through the president? And why give him 7 days? So the president can say that by giving me 7 days, by asking the petition to pass through my office, me, the presidency, I cannot be a post boy. And by giving me 7 days, I'm supposed to look at it and then decide to forward.
But
So
is it what you think
there's a
or what the
problem.
Constitution says?
But what the Constitution says
Yes.
is not what you and I think. It's what the Supreme Court thinks. That's what I'm saying. There has to be an interpretation.
All right.
Anytime there's conflict of thinking, you have to go to the Supreme Court.
Okay. Right.
Otherwise, to start, Samuel Kujetoku asked a question of the Attorney General to come and explain why the presidency hasn't forwarded this and that petition and why he has forwarded this and that petition.
Sam?
So Doc, let me begin with the matter to do with the petition submitted to the president by the former OSP. I take the view that in the conduct of public office, we should conduct ourselves with integrity. Integrity should be high. Integrity requires that we are consistent, we are respecting the Constitution at all times, that in our conduct, we do not
You see the caption given by my
Raise-
people.
What?
Petition spree.
petitions free, yeah. Today has been about petitions, yeah. So in our conduct as public officers, particularly when there is a constitutional obligation, let us be consistent. Nana Akomia has labored this morning to create a certain cloud of confusion, of haziness, which should not arise, which does not exist. If President Akufo-Addo had been consistent, his first test was the Charlotte Osei petition he received. Many lawyers in this country argue that the president has acted constitutionally. He is a conveyor belt. He has done what is expected of him. The constitutional provision is mandatory. The president had no discretion in the matter. He has no choice. all the Ghanaian people expected following that first example was simply that the president would be consistent. If the president
so one of our viewers
had
has
been
sent this. He
consistent,
says that the president doesn't act only as a conveyor belt as per Article 146. In the former EC bosses petition, the first petition they presented was not addressed and duly signed and not dated. The presidency opened the petition and asked the petitioners to come and sign, address and date the petition. This was done before he forwarded.
Yes, I recall that matter.
Which one was that? Which petition was
Charlotte
that?
The Charlotte Osei matter.
Now, Samuel, to one second. I've also got something from him. It says that petitions against the Electoral Commission were forwarded by the president to the Chief Justice. One was by a group called ASEPA. I don't know which group is that. It's a one by ASEPA was determined in 2020 by the Chief Justice as not having a prima facie. The second one was by Fix the Country against the Electoral Commission. But that one was withdrawn by the petitioners. And it's also saying that the Constitution under Article 146 doesn't give timelines to the president for the forwarding of the petition.
Yes, yes.
But the OS, the Special Prosecutor
Gives
Act,
7 days.
gives timelines.
Yes. So is it suggesting that the president, there's no timeline? So
He says that the ones against the EC, because we're wondering why it's against the EC were not forwarded. But he's saying that all the ones against the EC were forwarded.
The texter has not accounted for other petitions.
Yes.
Like
Yes,
the Prince Derek J one.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
So-
he says that the other
so-
petition say there's no timeline.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, but
you would expect that.
We are saying that if there's no timeline, the president received a petition in 2021. And then
It's
in
a long time.
2024,
Yeah. I mean,
the petition has not been forwarded.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not reasonableness.
Yeah.
You
The
know,
president said he must see those.
So that is why I emphasize integrity and consistency. You acted in a particular manner. You were defended. You see, when you deviate, even those who defended you, you embarrass them. You embarrass them. You know. So if you are acting as conveyor belt, there's been enormous public education, civic education. We have all been educated. The presidency is a conveyor belt. And now Kumia calls him a post boy. So do your work. Be consistent. Don't pick and choose. It is in your picking and choosing, your discrimination, that is what then raises suspicion. And people begin to question, your conduct, your motive, and all of that. Let's avoid that. So high integrity, consistency, it solves this. I don't see constitutional interpretation, go and file a question,
but
go
you
to
said
the
you
Supreme
agree.
Court.
You said you agree. Now you disagree.
It is the president's lack of consistency and integrity deficit. That is what is creating the confusion. Now let me come to
Let me show you why I don't agree with you. The reason why I don't agree with you, because you're accusing the president of discrimination. And it being inconsistent and not having integrity.
Clearly what it is.
But the same article that is saying he shall is also saying that he has passed through his office. As busy as that office is, why is the Constitution giving him additional responsibility to transmit people's petitions? Number two, is giving him 7 days. So if he interprets it to mean that he has a say in the matter, and you disagree, then we have to.
Well, at least in the Charlotte Osei case, he has shown that he can open the petition and check whether all dates and signature and address.
Exactly.
So obviously, then he called the people.
So it's not that.
So obviously,
it's
some
not
of
that a busy office.
So these people for 3 years they have not been called. That there is a comma.
Because obviously
there's a comma or full stop or exclamation mark which is missing.
But that's not for him to determine. It's
The
not for him to
article says the CJ must do
it. It
that.
is the CJ's
and what
role.
you read to us demonstrates that the CJ has done.
Yes, in some other cases.
But there's no timeline.
So
he can hold it for 3 years.
Why? There's no timeline.
I see.
So let me now proceed.
And if you decide that it's a frivolous.
You see, I hope the president is seeing how his defenders now. We can't hear them. Nana Komia is struggling here, trying to take us now to the Supreme Court. When really There's no need. There's no need for that journey.
What does he mean by struggling?
That's his opinion.
But that opinion
let me come to.
We're having a decent conversation over coffee. How is that a struggle?
Because you're all over the place, just because of the president's lack of consistency. And
I'm all about which place?
And integrity deficit. That's all this. You say I should file question. Another break, you say let's go to Supreme Court interpretation. You say the president. You say the president maybe doesn't believe in the fact that he's a post boy. When the matter is clear.
Listen,
matter is clear.
You have made a point 2 seconds ago that the president is not being consistent.
Yes.
The president is not being some other accusation. What did you say?
The integrity deficit.
And I'm saying
deficit.
To check that instead of just
go and test the law.
Go and test the law.
Okay.
That's what you say. I'm strong.
If I give 2 prescriptions, either bring their AG to the house or go and test the law. Okay.
So then you say I'm struggling.
We should spend public money, public time, because of a president who doesn't want to just follow the law.
Sabi, please finish.
Simple post boy job you can do. Meanwhile, in another break, when it comes to Charlotte, say you are super interested in it, you can open it, see that it's not been signed, it's not been dated. You take keen interest.
And
this busy office,
the people to yes, to come in,
yes.
But they are
the busy office. Nana Komia says the office is so busy. You can make time for all that.
But that's a very meticulous.
I tell you,
work,
meticulous president.
You would agree that there are other petitions against the EC that the president has forwarded.
I'll rather spend my
go and file the question.
No. I'll spend my time at Shraj, my energy, and to stop this.
Filing one simple question and going to Shraj.
The sale of the Senate hotels. I'll focus my energies here. The president should just show integrity. He should show fidelity to the Constitution.
Yes.
Randy,
he should be consistent.
Which is more difficult, filing a simple question that AG, why has the president not transmitted this and that petition?
Okay.
As mandated, but that one is difficult.
When you meet your good friend, the president, tell him to just be consistent. Should be consistent.
So
follow the Constitution.
I'm a conveyor belt.
Like he did in the Charlotte Osei matter. Yes.
At least do that for us.
Yes. Yes. On behalf of the viewers of Metro TV.
They are making me a post boy.
A post boy. We beg you. We beg you. Yeah.
No.
You know,
we'll do it with a bottle of Schnapp.
Listen, instead of making me a messenger, whom the president may ignore, file a question.
Okay. All right.
It doesn't solve
so
anything.
Finish.
So, on the...
So I've begged Sami to file one on my behalf. So.
You have? Has he done it?
No, today.
On which one?
The AG one.
Attorney General. What has he done?
Well, your proposal.
You've also
so I said I beg you, we should do it.
You there, if you've added your voice, maybe. Me, when I say it, you say I'm being partisan.
Because he believes you have 137 who can do it for you if you indeed mean it.
Yeah.
A lot of them proteges and mentees.
No. The issue has come before this table, and he's the person who can do it.
Yes.
If I was in Parliament myself, I'll tell him that I'll file a question.
All right.
President Kufuor is creating too many problems for us in this country. But let me move to the second matter. I would like to begin by commending the former Auditor General, Mr. Domelevo, one of the finest Auditor Generals this country has ever had. It's a shame that he was hounded out of office the way he was. And all his colleagues.
Sammy, 1 second. How do you find, since we're talking about Domelevo, how do you find the performance of the current Attorney General? Auditor General.
Oh, he's also doing well. He's also doing well.
So
he's also doing well. Yes, he's doing well. He's doing well. I mean, I've been using his Cocoa Roads audit, the latest one he did.
Okay.
I met Mr. Domelevo at a funeral.
He's doing a great job.
Yes.
And
I asked him for an interview.
that would be good. That would be good.
And what did he say?
He jokingly said, "No, you is too hot." But it was a joke.
No, pursue him.
Oh no, it was just a joke.
Yeah.
No, you come.
I think he said he was traveling.
Remind him.
So we all like to.
I'm sure one of these holidays I'll get him here.
Yeah, that would be.
I like that his ever song.
That would be lovely.
Yeah, he has a song.
So I want to commend all of them. Professor Jampo, the activists Martin Pebu, and all of them for that petition. Except that, Doc, let's be brutally frank. around this table. Ghana is currently looking like a banana republic. That millions upon millions of dollars have been found. And instead of dealing with the issue, anti-corruption agencies are fighting each other, throwing accusations at each other. It's unbelievable. It's incredible. I mean, what happened to teamwork, to working together? Look, when we were passing the Office of Special Prosecutor Act, we looked at the gaps, we looked at the shortfalls, we looked at bottlenecks in existing legislations, what is hampering the work of other anti-graft agencies. You know, for example, in the case of Shraj, when the Shraj law was being drafted, they were not given powers to injunct, to ask for a stay. We made sure that in the OSP Act, they have all of those powers. So one expected that these anti-graft institutions will work together, will collaborate, so that at the end of the day, we don't lose sight of the crux of the issue: fighting corruption, protecting the public purse, saving scarce resources for national development. So, Doc, as these things go on, how do you think that the masses, the average Ghanaian, sees the whole fight against corruption? That when it comes to the high and mighty, when it comes to the big people, the institutions rather fight amongst themselves. Doc, only a few weeks ago, in my constituency, you know, we have a warehouse where we keep the relief items we received. It's managed by the Accountability Elders Council. And so it's rushing. You know, when they receive calls that the camps are running out of supplies, then they replenish. Two constituents decided at night